I'm using Windows 11 and Windows 11 has greatly improved. Now we can almost use Linux-like development setup. So I will be doing a Linux-like setting up Linux on this. So let's search for Windows Terminal first. Let's go to the store. This can be done with Windows 11 also, but since Windows 11 is a great improvement, multiple desktops and the UI is also Linux or Mac like. So I recommend you to move upgrade to Windows 11. So let's search for Windows Terminal. In the meantime, we can install Visual Studio, Visual Code, sorry. I am using Brave browser which blocks JavaScript by. So let's enable JavaScript and download this. Okay. Okay, let's open this terminal now. And we will be setting this as the default terminal. Since this is much better. Why is this much better? Okay, this. I have just recently moved to Windows 11, so I also don't know much about this. But we can, the happy thing is we can use Linux commands here. CD is also working. Let's check out CD documents maybe. Yes. So now we will be installing Linux. You click on this and then you go for run as administrator. Let me show you the documentation first. So this is the official Microsoft site and they recommend doing this WSL-install. Please note that this is for WSL version 2 and this will only work with Windows 10 2004 or higher. They also provide a manual installation steps. You can check out if you cannot do this, but this is the easiest method and we will be doing this. So I generally use Visual VS Code for doing my development on Linux. Same thing I will be using. So let's start again. I installed Windows Terminal and then I open Windows Terminal as an administrator. Then do WSL install. Okay. So I had already completed this WSL install step and restarted my system, so that it's not showing. So let's install Ubuntu now. Install -d is for distribution and Ubuntu. Meanwhile, let's set up Visual Studio. Into taskbar, you have to go to extensions and search for remote development. Make sure that this is the official Microsoft one. And this also we need. This is how we will be able to open Ubuntu files inside Visual Code. So let's minimize. Now let's enter username. You can enter the password, it will not be visible. Okay. Now we are in a familiar environment. I usually work with Linux most of the time, so that's why I like it. But the great thing about Windows 11 is now we can have the Windows terminal and we can connect this to Visual Studio Code. Let's try opening a one folder, making a folder here. CV Playground. Maybe test.py. Let's see if this system has Python or not. Python is already there on Ubuntu. Let's say print hello world. This will probably not work. Okay, good. Now let's try opening this folder. Since we have installed Visual Studio inside, then code playground. See, this is installing the VS Code server. So this will be working through a client server mechanism. Ubuntu will be our server. The Visual Studio application on Windows is our client. So just trusting the authors. Let's close the old one and see. Let's go with dark. Know what this is showing. Now they're showing some kind of tutorial. So notice there we are using from WSL Ubuntu. Let's see the location of this file. Let's install the installation for Python. So if I add a new file here, test windows.py, look at the location here. This is getting created on home/man. So inside Ubuntu this is getting created. And let's play count. So that's all we need pretty much from Windows. Here I can install my tools. Let's install Git. The password was wrong. So Git is already installed. Let's try to run this file. Now the great thing is here also we have the Linux terminal. So everything it's equivalent to a Linux system except that it's running on Windows. Windows has some benefit. Now let's do one more thing. We want this terminal to open Ubuntu by default. So we will choose a default profile as this should show a Ubuntu option. I'm going to restart it. So let's close this one also. Now here you can choose what you want to open. Let's go to settings and choose Ubuntu as our default. Great, let's restart once again. Finally. So now we will always be using the Linux terminal, and as you saw, whatever we write here, let's say print from inside Windows. So if you see this, then it got updated in the Linux file system, and this is running fine. That's all we need for setting up a Linux dev environment on Windows 11. And it's now it's almost like Mac, maybe if you are using Mac. Basically Windows 11 is great. Now they are taking, yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you.